we didn't catch? I'm just scanning back through things. Jonathan, we were talking earlier today about I'm working on a red day, which doesn't fortunately happen all that often, but it does happen. And right. So sometimes you get into those days. So it's interesting because, guys, we had recorded a podcast yesterday, and we talked actually about. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? 2 days ago.
Tuesday.
Anyway.
Yep.
Tuesday. But anyways, one of the things that we had talked about was the importance of, thinking about everything in your life and balancing things to be able to trade. And I said, I should have known better, because I woke up at like 3:43 a.m. and never really went back to sleep for whatever reason. So I came into the day tired, and sure enough, I've provided some funding to the marketplace.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about that is that, fatigue can actually not be the trader's best friend. Although I actually would try to monitor that and kind of take note of that to see if there's actually a consistent pattern there, or whether it's selection bias. The only reason I'm saying this is it's very interesting. With sleep, for me, it's an interesting side note, is that I never have trouble falling asleep, whether good day, bad day, something is good and happened in my life, or bad. I actually have, like you, getting up early, or have during the night awakening, actually when there's something that has gone well, or a project or something that I'm excited about. It's kind of an interesting paradox. When something not so good has happened, I can sleep solidly through the night. That doesn't mean that I'm not fatigued the next day, but sometimes people can have disruptive sleep for kind of more positive things or negative things. And I think you just need to know for yourself, like you said, Peter, it's a little bit of a warning sign, especially when you have to concentrate and focus pretty consistently on the markets, that it does put you a little bit less than optimum condition to do that. So yeah, I think that's an important thing for traders to note. And this then gets into just taking yourself in terms of your eating and your sleeping and your exercise, and kind of those kind of lifestyle factors, that actually the good news about those things is that generally speaking, those are in our control, and we can change. And then sometimes you have to be willing, like if you've had a really lousy night's sleep, and it could be if you have kids and they're up sick, or something has happened in the family, or just individually, just to kind of, if you need to step back and take a pass on the markets, if you really have a hard time concentrating or focusing, you just need to do that. I think the worst thing is to get in harm's way. And sometimes people need to learn the hard way just to get a sense of the impact of the fatigue on their performance.
I can't claim any of those distractions. I think maybe it was just a warm day yesterday. It was warm overnight and I woke up. But anyways, yeah. But point well taken. And you're right. There could be some perception bias on my part on that. I just know I'm certainly feeling tired now, but I can't determine if it's mostly because of the lack of my regular sleep overnight, or I'm just drained from making so many poor trades today.
Yeah, well, that's why I was bringing that up, Peter, because sometimes, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but sometimes somebody could say, oh, I've had a bad day and I had 4 hours of sleep, and so attribute it to that. And then they don't really then review their trades, which could show a pattern of poor decision-making, which might be consistent over days where they had ample sleep and not sleep. So you don't want to kind of just make an assumption. A pattern could exist there, which is not just about sleep deprivation, but really about certain kinds of trading decisions that one makes. And so I always think it's useful to entertain a variety of catalysts for our own behavior to explore, because a lot of times we have confirmatory bias, and so we just say, oh, we're tired, so it must have been I traded poorly because I was tired. And then I've actually seen on days where you had ample sleep that you've made the same kind of trading errors. So, I just think that that's something to look at kind of next level, just to see if there are other patterns besides the sleep.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a good point. I hear, guys, that apparently my microphone is cutting in and out. So I'm not sure if everybody's hearing that, but I seem to be having technical issues on my end. I can't tell you what they are.
I hear you perfectly, whatever that's worth.
Okay. Clear. It's only for some people. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. I had a couple people said it was happening. Awesome.
So Andy mentions that he is having problems or difficulties trying to eliminate mistakes, and he was asking about any thoughts or motivation you can offer about eliminating the same mistakes. Well, one of the things I would say, Andy, is that sometimes we make the same mistakes, and although we say to ourselves that we would like to change them, we really haven't made a commitment to do it. And what I mean by that is sometimes people just want to be right, and they can get stubborn in not really looking at the underlying patterns of the mistakes they're making. So that to me is really the key, is to, if you are able to identify the same kind of mistakes you are making, I think if you can identify some of the patterns in there, then you have to take really specific steps, constructive, productive, kind of corrective steps to not do that again. Now, what I would say on that is that this is something that you need to think about, maybe rehearse, and really spend some time with during non-trading hours, because sometimes during the emotions of the trading day, we just tend to go the path of least resistance, and we gravitate towards what we're used to doing. So it's easy to say, like, I want to correct my mistakes, but in the moment, you may just go back to kind of what has felt comfortable, even though the comfort in this case may not have been something that has been successful. So try to identify those patterns, try to, like, during your quiet moments off of the trading day, see what patterns there are, try to take some specific corrective steps. And then, very importantly, during your pre-market trading mental routines, have some reminders for yourself, maybe a Post-it or something, so that you have a reminder that when X happens, you don't behave in Y fashion, which has been historically what's happened. You want to have your reminders about how you can kind of maybe entertain and execute on a different pattern so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over again.
Did it? Oh, let me take a peek here at what JD is doing. Oh yeah, look at that. It had to come up above VWAP and then drop back down here. We've got a couple of things moving because Thor had taken a trade earlier on ACB. It's up at the high of day, so it looks like he would have managed to stay in that, and I hope he did. I'm pretty sure he did. And then he's now getting a pull to high of day. So once again, Thor is working his magic. And then BJ's is sort of hanging around the high of day here. So it's put in a couple of really sharp moves I've been noticed while watching. So we'll see what it does for the next 13 minutes into the close. But
it's interesting, you guys, as you're approaching the close, you know, it's interesting psychologically how the impact of how you close off the day, you know, impacts your emotions into the evening. I mean, that's especially true if somehow you go from negative to positive, you cross that threshold, or the other way around. But sometimes the recency effect of even when people have had a good day, but the last couple of trades have been losers, or vice versa, you know, it really has kind of an impact on somehow your mood going into the evening. So I would just kind of, you know, I think the best traders don't kind of emotionally react. Their emotional volatility stays within a relatively even place, and don't allow what happens right at the end of the day to either on a positive side somehow hide or mask some of the poor trades you've made just because you made some successful ones at the end of the day. You don't want to minimize the ones that you traded less than eloquently before. So the importance of going back and reviewing those, and vice versa. You may have had a reasonably good day, and then you kind of had 2 poor trades at the end of the day. Don't let that be overly discouraging. Try to step back and view the day as an aggregate, as a whole, and don't be too kind of emotionally driven by how it ended and letting that kind of in a negative way affect your mood for the evening. And I say that for a personal point of view, like in terms of just your activities post trading day, that may be with family or friends, but also just in terms of your own mental state and putting yourself in a good frame of mind leading into tomorrow's trading day.
Right.
Yeah. And, in response to what Chris brought up, sometimes I think this is when people are in kind of intense businesses or occupations, I remember when I was in New York, what was helpful for me after a long day of working with people that could be stressful, I had a commute home and that helped me kind of just unwind. So that by the time I got in my house, I was, felt like I had a little downtime. But I think people who are trading from home now, and then they are going right from the close into their family life, maybe with a significant other and or kids, if you feel you need some time to decompress, you got to be willing to tell those people close to you that, you just maybe need a time, lay down for 15 minutes, just like Mike said, take a run. It better than just trying to suck it up and not have that time and then get into some arguments, or you're a little more testy or impatient with the people around you. You just have to know yourself. And I think those people who care about you and love you, if you're able to articulate that you sometimes just need a little cooling off period to kind of reintegrate into your family, that is fine. But you have to be willing to admit that to yourself. Sometimes, and this could change from day to day. During a good day, you may feel like you need less time because you're feeling good. And then a particularly rough day, you may need to find your footing and you may need a little alone time to kind of recalibrate. And I think as long as people communicate that, first of all, with themselves, understanding your own emotional volatility, then you're in a position to create changes or requests or patterns that can help you. And then you could convey those to the people around you if if you're living with others or involved with others.
I'm just so you guys know, full disclosure here, I'm doing it again. I've shorted Microsoft. I want a three-peat. I've already taken a partial, and despite what Dr. Katz was saying, this is going to help me feel better at the end of the day, because despite my bad day, I get to go out on a winner.
Okay. So Peter, are you now saying to me that we have to up our post-trading meeting from 3 hours to about 5 hours?
Apparently.
I just want to know what I'm in for, Peter. I'm just trying to mentally prepare myself. So
well, that's fair. That's very reasonable. So, okay, I'm going to take another partial here if it pulls back at all. Keep going though for me. Come on, Microsoft. There you go.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right, took a partial. Exactly. Exactly, Dutch. I will not be beaten. It's the third day in a row, Zen. Yeah, I'm trying to do this Microsoft magic. So I don't normally share my trades. And there's a reason why. It's interesting. I get a lot of people who I used to get a lot of trolls who would attack me. So I never put my trades on there. But here I can actually just see. Look, here I am in Microsoft. After that spike, I took it short, and
oh, you're back in Microsoft, eh?
Yeah.
There you go, Peter.
I know, third day in a row.
Yeah.
I know. I said normally I don't put the thing. I don't share my trades anymore because I used to get too many people commenting. So I only share with you guys in the room. So, but yeah, it's look at that. See, that makes me happy.
There you go.
And it's interesting.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Importance for me.
Good.
Yeah. I was going to say the importance for me is actually the last thing I want to do on a losing day is journal, even though I know it's today I really do need to journal because it helps me sort of reset what were the things that I was focusing on improperly. And this, if nothing else, helps me, journal my trades properly at the end of the day, rather than just saying, "To heck with it all, I'm getting a drink," right? So.
Yeah, and often you don't want to journal while the drink is there because often the journal is not terribly accurate with that combination. Just saying, just saying. Just trying to help a brother out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
There you go.
Look at that. See, it sometimes it's important when you have a bad day. I'm gonna put my trades back up here because this is one of those things. When you nothing is working. I don't even feel like I can trade properly, and then now I'm able to have a conversation. To me, I'm happy with this partial. If you forget the rest of the trade, I just took a partial right at the bottom of those candles. That makes me happy. So it's amazing how fickle we are as humans, aren't it? It's like I always equate these things to golf because I am a terrible golfer, right? Like if I golf 110, I'm having a great day, right? That's a great score for me. So. But I can leave a golf course and there'll be like one shot that was like super memorable that, I chipped it into the cup from off the green. It doesn't matter that I got a 7 on the hole. It's like, remember that chip? That was awesome.
You're very good about you're very good about being a legend in your own mind. That's what we say, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I figure, I've got to be my own greatest fan. But even here in the room, you guys, you can tell, right? Like I can tell my whole demeanor has changed just on this one trade because, I was like beaten for the afternoon.
So actually, so it's an interesting thing, Peter. Like we said, I think this is just kind of what we've talked about in all seriousness. Is like it's good that you've kind of had something positive happen after a rough day, but that shouldn't kind of take away from being able to identify the things that happened earlier in the day that you may want to kind of learn from, right? That's the message in the bigger picture. And this is sometimes what happens when people have a good end of the day. It kind of just colors the entire day, and then they don't learn from the things that have transpired earlier.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel
hopefully.
you on that one. But it's good. Your whole mood changed. That's good, Peter. And
I know. Even I notice it because it's.
So our work together is working, Peter. Is that what you're telling me? Like
absolutely. It's completely cathartic for me.
There we go.
I'm benefiting on a regular basis. So I'm going to take another partial here.
nice.
Oh, look at that. Another one right at the bottom.
Nice one.
Right at the bottom.
I'm just getting ready to close my puts position out here on SPY.
Not going to hold anything.
No whammies. Well, then look.
The dark cloud has left the room.
I know. Then truly, I owe an apology to everybody in the room because obviously I was the source of that dark cloud. So I appreciate you, recognizing that it's lifted, but you have to remember I was the one that caused it in the first place.
Hey, Peter, I will send you the side chats that everybody's been having with me after the show to indicate that.
It's a you need to step up your work here. What the heck is wrong with this
I
kid,
cannot
man?
repeat this on the air.
Yeah, that's all right. I get it. Client, patient, whatever, patient privacy.
Yeah.
Doctor
Are you a
patient.
patient?
That's what I'm- oh yeah, well that's I go for hours of therapy with Dr. Katz. So,
Yeah.
every time we.
Yeah.
So.
This is part of my community service.
It is exactly.
Punishment.
I'm like the homeless guy living in a cardboard box to him.
No.
Oh, that's all right. At least we can laugh about it.
I know. Last minute into the market.
I know. You didn't realize all of you, the hundreds of you out there, are all part of my personal therapy sessions. Really, it's all like a big ruse. I've lobbied to have the esteemed Dr. Jonathan Katz here just so I can get benefit. Really, is what it is. It's a sly move on my part.
Don't forget to exit your position today, Peter, before the close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just noticing.
Don't get too
here
chesty here, Peter. Don't get too chesty here.
Yeah. That.
In the sports
It's,
world, they would say you're
back.
smelling yourself a little much.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna cancel my auto stop, and then why did that not work? Oh, there we go. And I'm running out of time. Let's see how close. There. I'm gonna hit the button there. Look at that.
Not bad.
All right.
There you go, Peter.
There you go. I can take those little arrows off my chart. You've all seen it happen. Let me take those off.
So you can say, Peter, I earned my keep today with you?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm still well read on the day, but that was an entertaining way, anyways, to end. So, and it's more just ironic because it just happens that this is the third day in a row that I've traded Microsoft short into the close. So we'll see. Maybe I can make it a 4. Actually, I won't be trading tomorrow afternoon. Can't make it a 4-peat.
There you go.
Nope.
Oh well.
Okay.
So
Take care, everybody. So you guys were talking about the earnings that's coming up. Do we have anything right at 4? Let me see here.
no. So before we get into that, just wanted to thank you, Dr. Katz, for joining us. It was a great conversation.
Good being with you guys, and have a good week. And I'll speak to you next Thursday.
Thanks for being patient as we work
sir.
through the technical issues today.
No worries. Okay, guys, take it easy.
You too.
I wasn't prepared to release him from his indentured servitude.
Oh, you weren't?
Yet, so.
Sorry, Peter.
No, I'm just kidding. Just being,
So
we had a great session last night. I want to publicly thank John Hiltze for doing a fantastic session yesterday. And it was because it was honest, it was forthright. You know, he didn't gloss over the challenges he's had, but also the success he's had. It's brought him to this point, which is, in his own words, sort of early on in his trading journey. So it's I thought it was fantastic, and I appreciate you doing it, and appreciate so many people who attended last night. So thank you for that. And then we've got more coming up. Mike, maybe I should let you actually talk for a bit.
all right. So next week we have Nada, who is a friend of Andrew's. It's coming in. She works up at a university there, and she's been studying and practicing meditation and mindfulness. So she's going to come in and give us an introduction to it, explain to us some of the benefits and how it can benefit your trading and your life outside of trading as well. And then the day before that, we have just one.
Remember that?
And the day before that, I'll be discussing Module 4, Mindfulness During Trading. So that's kind of an introduction to her, which will be great. And then we'll have Dr. Katz, who is just with us. He'll be giving us a webinar on how to cope with anxiety. And I've seen the outline for that, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Very helpful if it's something that you deal with. Putting a mustache on there. See, Peter's mood has gotten better already.
I wanted to see if you had noticed while you were talking.
Of course. And then for everybody there on YouTube, if you're interested, please, you can join us for an intro membership by using the code ClosingBell24. It's good for a week. Next week, everybody in the chat as well as on YouTube, our introductory onboarding class will be going Tuesday at 7 Eastern. That's an hour before the normal time, and that's because we have the lifetime webinar going on that afternoon. And then if you'd like to upgrade your membership or join the community, you can use a 40% off lifetime membership code podcast to join us.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a couple earnings that we're hanging around for here. Let's see if they give us something interesting to take a look at. Intuit, I'm seeing partial numbers here on INTU. Here we go. Looks like they missed on sales, delivering $3 billion versus a $3.34 billion estimate, and their earnings per share were down by about $1 too, $4.49 versus $5.48. So INTU, just plug this in here and see what we've got. Not seeing a lot of post-market activity right now on it, so nothing too exciting there.
Nadiva is
Splunk.
420, so it's going to be a while for them.
Yeah, that's PLK. Look at the, oh no, that's the SPY. What the? Look at that 1 minute candle on the SPY. Anyways, it's PLK moving around here a little bit. They, looks like they missed on their top line revenue and slightly beat by a penny on their earnings per share. So some mixed results for them. Yeah, I think the rest, as you say, are a little bit later. The only thing, NVIDIA, I would be interested in seeing, but I'm not going to wait around for 420. So we'll have to come back and we'll see how that affects things for tomorrow. NVIDIA not moving so much right now. Okay. 1 minute left. Get out. So I'm just seeing that. Look, I'm just looking at some of the comments on YouTube. They're like, "Get out!" And there's like a minute left. A minute? That's like tons of time.
Yeah.
You guys always haven't watched me trade into the close. I'm waiting until like 3 seconds before 4. I mean, I figure the electrons don't take that long to transmit. So as long as I hit the button before the bell goes, I'm usually good. So, and I can actually tell you this one. I actually, yeah, this one, yeah, no word of a lie here. I actually got out. Oh, let me pop this out here. Whoops. Oh no, where'd it go? I just disappeared it. But you can see I actually executed this trade. 15:59:56.
4 seconds to spare.
4 seconds to spare. I wouldn't make, you have to defuse the bomb with only a second left, right? I got to work on that. Yeah.
You gotta put in for lag time though, so.
Yeah.
You don't want to get that. So.
All right. Well, guys, maybe we'll call it a day there. We've had a lot of technical issues, so I don't want to tempt fate. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for being patient. We really appreciate that. It was a little bit of a challenge to get things up and running on YouTube, but we appreciate you joining us. As Mike said, consider joining us in the room. at any time. Mike will be leading this show tomorrow afternoon. So join him tomorrow into the close. That would be great. And what else was I going to say? I don't know. Something important, but it's escaped my mind. So whatever it was, you'll never hear it. Take care, everyone. I'm going to sign off. Great night. Thank you, Mike.
Take care of everyone. Take care, YouTube, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Sounds good.